Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this, we are going to be attempting to review AEW Dynasty. We'll talk about the matches that happened on the card. If you like anything like wrestling gaming highlights, like talking about wrestling or reading books, then hit the subscribe button. Also, if you can leave a like on this video, it would be very much appreciated. Alright, so guys, we're pretty much all behind on a lot of pay-per-views. We're behind a lot, so we may probably be spending the rest of the year catching up. So, because so many pay-per-views have happened almost, it seems like back to back to back. So, the NXT Stand and Deliver review has been recorded. Finally finished the WrestleMania 40 review. That took forever, and he doesn't even think these videos are that good. But you know, they've been recorded, so they're coming out soon. And this is the last review that's going to be coming out before we start recording the next 3 pay-per-view reviews that have already happened. So, yeah, we are going to be looking at Bleacher Report, AEW Dynasty 2024 results, winners, live grades, reaction, and highlights. Also want to say that, again, that this is a very late review, and most of the pay-per-view reviews that are going to come out are going to be very late. Yeah. All Elite Wrestling returned to B/R Sunday night for its latest pay-per-view offering, the inaugural Dynasty event, headlined by a heated world title match built to over months and a dream match between two of the best wrestlers on the planet. The show had all of the makings of one of the company's best, at least on paper. Did it live up to expectations? Did Tony Khan and co. have any surprises in store for fans? And what magic did Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson have in store for fans in the wrestling-rich city of St. Louis? Find out with this recap of the extravaganza. Match card. Pay-per-view main card matches. Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson. AEW World Championship match. Swerve Strickland versus Samoa Joe. AEW World Women's Championship match, Thunder Rosa versus Timeless Toni Storm. TBS Championship match, Willow Nightingale versus Julia Hart. Ladder match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, FTR versus the Young Bucks. Tournament final to crown new champions, AEW Continental Championship match, Pac versus Kazuchika Okada. If I botched that name, which he most likely did, that was his bad. AEW International Championship match, Kyle O'Reilly versus Roderick Strong. And FTW Championship match, Hook versus Chris Jericho. Trios match, Adam Copeland, Mark Briscoe, and Eddie Kingston versus the House of Black. Alright, so, it was the Kazuchika Okada defending the AEW Continental Championship against Pac. Again, if he botches that name, you know, it's like a hard name to pronounce for him. But anyways, AEW Continental Champion Kazuchika Okada worked over the head and neck of Pac for the majority of the opening match at Dynasty, targeting that area of his opponent and punishing it in hopes of setting up the devastating Rainmaker. It would prove effective, especially after the Bastard's Black Arrow was met with knees to the face. The missed finisher stunned Pac, allowed Okada to rock him with his finisher and score the hard-fought victory. More methodically paced than anything else on the card to this point, the match took over to nearly 30 minutes and maximized it. This was probably the best presentation of Okada to this point because it did not include the Young Bucks nonsense, while Pac seriously stood out here, earning chants of "He's our bastard" after the bell. A great way to kick off a card that figures to have more than a few of these highly graded matchups. Result, Okada defeated Pac to retain grade A. Top moments and takeaways. There was a big fight feel accompanying this match from the get-go. Pac sold the head and neck damage incredibly well throughout. The finish was perfectly timed and executed. He thought this didn't deliver. He does not have much to say about this match, just like he probably won't have much to say about the other matches. Something that it seems like Bleacher Report didn't say in their top moments and takeaways was that Okada delivered a vicious DDT while he thinks Pac was leaned out on the barricade. Just don't have much to say about this match, just that it was fine. Alright, we're going to move on to the next match, which was Adam Copeland, Eddie Kingston, and Mark Briscoe versus House of Black. TNT champion Adam Copeland and the House of Black's Malachi Black have been on the collision course for weeks. Sunday night, they clashed as part of a trios match, pitting Copeland, Eddie Kingston, and Ring of Honor World Champion Mark Briscoe against Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews. Matthews. As it turned out, Black and Copeland did not touch until the closing seconds of the match, during which the heel blinded the Rated R superstar with his trademark mist and rocked him with Black Mass for the win. This was a fun, action-packed trios match that highlighted everyone but never over-delivered the money matchup between Copeland and Black, ensuring there will be interest in those two eventually clashing for the TNT Championship. Result, House of Black defeated Copeland, King, and Briscoe. Grade B+. This match was fine. Again, just didn't deliver. Don't have much to say about this match. This might be a quick review, but also forgot the top moments and takeaways. Briscoe delivered a running flipping senton off the apron over the ring post and onto King. They did a great job of keeping Copeland and Black apart long enough to make it mean more when they finally did touch. The babyfaces delivered stereo spears to cut down the heels in a very cool spot. That spot wasn't bad. He'll give credit to that spot. It wasn't a bad spot. Add to that an interesting wide shot by the production team, and it looked even better. But yeah, this trios match, it was fine. It didn't deliver, and so yeah. Again, just another match he doesn't have much to say about. So repeating what he said, this might be a quick review. Alright, so we're gonna move on to the TBS Championship match. Willow Nightingale versus Julia Hart, who defended her TBS Championship against Willow Nightingale. With Chris Statlander and Sky Blue barred from ringside per the challenger's handpicked rule, House of Black's Julia Hart defended the TBS Championship against Willow Nightingale. It will be the Princess of the Black Throne's final defense as Nightingale fired up, powered through everything Hart threw at her, and delivered a gut-wrench powerbomb to score the clean, emphatic victory in a match that was good, but failed to live up to some of Hart's other defenses. After the match, Mercedes Moné predictably made her presence felt and stared Nightingale down. Their much-anticipated rematch official for May 26th in Las Vegas at Double or Nothing. Result, Nightingale defeated Hart to win the title, grade C+. Top moments and takeaways. Nightingale's family was shown at ringside, potentially tipping the company's hat toward the outcome. Chuck E. Cheese, here we come, Stokely Hathaway exclaimed on commentary upon Nightingale's victory. If he didn't pronounce that name right, that was his bad. But yeah, this match was alright. This match seemed to be a short match. He was not interested in this match, and when it was over, it was like, alright, time to move on to the next match. We're gonna move on to the next match, which was the AEW International Championship match. It was Kyle O'Reilly versus Roderick Strong, with Roderick Strong defending his International Championship against Kyle O'Reilly. The disintegrating friendship between AEW International Champion Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly wrote its latest chapter Sunday. Strong targeted the neck and spine of his partner, looking to exploit the established injury that nearly cost the challenger his in-ring career. O'Reilly fought back, punishing his opponent with quick strikes and arm-based submissions. Ultimately, it was an awkwardly executed run-in, in quotation marks, by Wardlow that did just enough to distract O'Reilly and allow Strong to deliver End of Heartache for the pinfall victory. After the match, Adam Cole joined Strong, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, and Wardlow in the ring, revealing he no longer needs the wheelchair for his injured foot. The match was quite good, especially if you are into strikes and counters. Does it appeal to the larger fan base? No, as we saw in the reaction from the fans, but it was a well-executed match that saw the right guy go over. Result: Strong defeated O'Reilly, grade B. Top moments and takeaways. Good physical action out of both guys here. O'Reilly forearmed Strong down, but the champion countered a kick into a backbreaker, as the Messiah of the backbreaker has been known to do throughout his career. Wardlow lumbered onto the apron in an attempt to interfere on behalf of Strong, but just casually got down when referee Paul Turner caught him. The look from Cole to Wardlow suggests the Undisputed Kingdom could be a member lighter sooner rather than later. He thought this match didn't deliver. He was actually looking forward to this match because the International Championship match at Revolution was the match of the night at Revolution, in his opinion, and he thought because these guys have put on some good tag team matches and singles matches, he thought this would be better than it was, and it just was not, unfortunately. He thought Orange Cassidy versus Roderick Strong at Revolution was better than this. Adam Cole showing that he could walk, that was good. Hopefully we will see him wrestle in a match soon. Alright, so going back and grading the 4 matches they just talked about. So the AEW Continental Championship match with Kazuchika Okada defending against Pac. Bleacher Report gave the match an A. He'll give it a C. The next match, Adam Copeland, Eddie Kingston, and Mark Briscoe versus House of Black. The Bleacher Report gave this match a B+. He'll give it a C-. Now, the next match, the TBS Championship match, Willow Nightingale versus Julia Hart, with Julia Hart defending her TBS Championship against Willow Nightingale. They gave this match, Bleacher Report gave this match a C+. He'll give it a D. So, yeah. Alright, and then the AEW International Championship match, Kyle O'Reilly versus Roderick Strong, with Roderick Strong defending the AEW International Championship against Kyle O'Reilly. Bleacher Report gave the match a B. He'll give it a C. Next up, it was the FTW Championship match with Hook defending his FTW Championship against Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho defeated Hook to win the FTW Championship Sunday. The fans inside the arena made it abundantly clear that they did not want Jericho to win, and in fact, even implored him to take his bags and go home at a certain point in the match. That did not stop the inevitable outcome, as Jericho delivered 2 Judas effects, then used a baseball bat to flatten the second-generation star and win a title that does nothing for him besides bolstering his resume. As checked on Hook after the match, while the disingenuous Jericho acted as though he wanted nothing to do with hurting the now former champion. The match was fine enough for what it was, but in no way anything more or better than that. Result, Jericho defeated Hook to win the title, grade C. Top moments and takeaways. Chants of "Go home, Jericho, go home" rained down from the fans as AEW and the performer in question continued to fail to read the room regarding the inaugural world champion. Excalibur compared the action to the original ECW, proving he has not seen any of those shows. The boos for a potential Jericho victory after 2 Judas effects were not reflective of a crowd that didn't want the heel to win, but rather a guy they simply have no interest or desire to watch compete. He agrees with Bleacher Report here completely. This match did not deliver. He does not mind this learning tree thing, but talking about this go home Jericho, go home chant, he likes Jericho. He has put on some good matches with Triple H and The Rock and some other people, but he just not has put on top tier matches since 2019 with that match against Cody Rhodes at Full Gear, at least in his opinion. So, yeah. The match was fine, and yeah, it was alright. Alright, so next up was the AEW World Women's Championship match, Thunder Rosa versus Timeless Toni Storm. Timeless Toni Storm will stop at nothing to retain her AEW Women's Championship, as evidenced by the closing moments of Sunday's title clash with Thunder Rosa. Also, I don't think the AEW Women's Championship is called the AEW World Women's Championship. At least he doesn't think so. He thinks it's just the AEW Women's Championship. But anyways, moving on here. With Deonna Purrazzo hitting the ringside area and brawling to the back with Mariah May, but not before leaving Luther down and out on the arena floor, the champion found herself without her support system. Instead, she capitalized on a referee distraction and delivered a kick below the belt of her opponent, then delivered Storm Zero to retain the title. This was a strong match with some great fire from Rosa, particularly as she was trapped in the Texas Cloverleaf. Storm continues to thrive in this role and remains an excellent choice to serve as the face of the women's division in AEW. Result, Storm defeated Rosa to retain Grade B. Top moments and takeaways. Rosa removed the mask, revealing that she did not have her customary face paint on, a nod to the angle that saw Storm wipe it off her face. Excalibur pointed out that in her previous 2 reigns as champion, Storm never retained the championship in her 4th defense successfully. This, her 4th defense of the gold. The exchange of strikes is the most overused spot in wrestling and desperately needs to be exorcised from some of these matches. The match was alright. The women on Dynasty, both matches, nowhere near, the quality of the women's championship match from WrestleMania, at least in his opinion. That match was better than both of these matches. This Toni Storm match did not deliver, and he's going to repeat what Bleacher Report said for the Hook versus Jericho match. The match was fine enough for what it was, but in no way anything more or better than that, at least in his opinion. Next up, it was the match between Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson. When you take arguably the best wrestler of this generation and book him against another great wrestler, expectations for such a match are understandably sky high. Sunday night in St. Louis, a town rich in wrestling history, Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson stared down lofty expectations and delivered a Match of the Year candidate that exceeded them. A war of attrition saw Ospreay and Danielson stare each other down, each launching themselves out of their respective corners. The aerial assassin got the best of the American Dragon, laying him out. A Tiger Driver followed, apparently injuring Danielson along the way, before Ospreay delivered Hidden Blade for the pinfall victory. Ospreay checked on Danielson after the match, continuing the story that he cares too much about his opponents and has too much respect to be part of the hated Don Callis family. The match was extraordinary. The crowd was red hot. Both men proved their greatness, and the result was exactly what everyone expected. An instant classic. Excuse him. Result. Ospreay pinned Danielson. Grade A+. Top moments and takeaways. Don Callis planted the seeds for a split with Ospreay at multiple points during this match, as he watched from the commentary position. He insinuated he was a liar, then called Ospreay stupid without ever actually saying it. Ospreay caught a kick to the ribs that appeared to hobble him during the match. Danielson targeted the elbow of Ospreay, hoping to prevent him from using the hidden blade. The American Dragon delivered a picture-perfect tiger suplex from the top rope. This match did not deliver to him. It was alright. He just does not know what everybody sees in this match. Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega from Grand Slam was better than this, in his opinion. Bryan Danielson versus MJF, the Iron Man match, was better than this, in his opinion. Thought WrestleMania 40 had better matches than this pay-per-view. You had the Women's Championship match, the World Heavyweight Championship match, and the United States Championship match. I think those matches from WrestleMania 40 were far better than anything on this pay-per-view. You guys might think this person has no idea what he's talking about and that he's wrong, and most of the times he is wrong, but this match was fine in his opinion. That Ospreay match at Revolution, he also did not understand what people saw in that match. Like, those two previous matches he mentioned were way better than this. Even thought Bryan had some better matches in the WWE that were better than this. The two previous matches, the matches that he already mentioned that Bryan had in AEW, were better than the Ospreay match at Revolution and this match at Dynasty. But yeah, the matches in WWE, you had the Cena match from SummerSlam, the two matches with Roman Reigns at Fastlane, especially that second match they had at Fastlane, and then the AJ Styles match at TLC. Also want to say he wants to get better at attempting to review the pay-per-views after they happen. So yeah. Now going back to grade the matches they just talked about. So you have the FTW Championship match with Hook defending the FTW Championship against Chris Jericho. Bleacher Report gave it a C. He'll give it a C as well. You have the AEW Women's Championship match with Thunder Rosa. It was Thunder Rosa versus Timeless Toni Storm. With Timeless Toni Storm defending the AEW Women's Championship against Thunder Rosa. They gave it a B. He'll give it a C as well. Next up, you had the Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson match. Bleacher Report gave it an A+. He's going to give it a C-. Also want to say with the NXT TakeOver NXT Stand and Deliver review and the WrestleMania 40 review, the grades are all over the place, and some unpopular things are said about some matches in the WrestleMania 40 review, and in this video, there's already a major unpopular opinion he has already said. Don't come at him, please. It's just what he thought. So, yeah. Alright, so next up was the ladder match for the AEW Tag Team Championships. It was FTR versus the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks became 3-time Tag Team Champions on Sunday, capitalizing on Jack Perry's shocking return to defeat FTR in a wild, chaotic ladder match full of jaw-dropping spots, which had fans verbally wishing safety on the competitors. Perry's return, staged as a fan run-in and treated as such, he was escorted out of the arena by security, directly set up the finish, suggesting there may be some loose partnership between the EVPs and the self-proclaimed scapegoat. The fourth match in the series between the Bucks and FTR was unlike any of the three that preceded it, but still involved several callbacks and moments that tied them together. Was there more to accomplish with FTR as champions? Potentially, but it felt relatively obvious from the moment the tournament was announced to crown new champions that the Bucks were going to take the straps. They did. Result, the Young Bucks defeated FTR to win the titles. Grade A. Top moments and takeaways. CM Punk chants interrupted the stare down between the two teams early on. There was a greater sense of urgency to the action early on, perhaps thanks to the lack of time remaining for the show. The Bucks dominated the match, delivering the EVP trigger to Wheeler, who was trapped in the rungs of a ladder. Wheeler delivered a moonsault off a bridged ladder, wiping out the heels on the floor. Harwood took off Matthews' shoe, a throwback to their original encounter way back in 2020. Nicholas delivered a 450 splash through a table that wiped Wheeler out. A pile driver from Harwood to Matthew drew "This is awesome" chants. Wheeler absolutely ate it on a top suicida attempt, missing Nicholas and crashing through a table. Chants of "Please be careful" spilled from the stands. He thought this match was alright. This is just another match that he doesn't have much to say about, just like most of the matches on this pay-per-view, as you guys probably will have noticed by now. But the spot of the match, in his opinion, was the power driver from Harwood to Matthews, as Bleacher Report said in their top moments and takeaways. Yeah, this was a weak ladder match in his opinion. Thought the ladder match from WrestleMania was better than this. Again, maybe he is different for thinking that, and he is different, but yeah, pretty weak ladder match here, in his opinion. Next up was the AEW World Championship match. It was Swerve Strickland versus Samoa Joe, with Samoa Joe defending the AEW World Championship against Swerve Strickland. Swerve Strickland defeated Samoa Joe in the main event of Dynasty and ushered in a new era for the company. The historic moment came after a physical match that saw Joe attempt to overwhelm and exhaust Strickland, only for the challenger to weather the storm, drive the heel into the mat, and deliver the second top rope double stomp of the match to secure the win and the title. The fans in St. Louis erupted for Strickland, adding to the moment and ensuring that everybody involved knew the result was the right decision. Joe, a consummate professional, rolled out of the ring and headed up the ramp, allowing the new champion to have the spotlight. Well-deserved spotlight given the work he put in to come back from the doldrums of the mid-card and evolve himself into a world title-worthy competitor. Result: Strickland defeated Joe to win the title. Grade B+. He just remembered he didn't talk about the top moments and takeaways. He was about to give his thoughts on the match, but we're gonna read the top moments and takeaways now. Top moments and takeaways. The crowd was overwhelmingly behind Strickland, carrying over the Swerve's House chants that started all the way back in the pre-show. Prince Nana bestowed upon Strickland a robe previously worn by the late Jimmy Rave, a client he managed in the original Ring of Honor. Strickland wore Black Panther-inspired gear, a reflection of the culturally significant moment that awaited him if he defeated Joe. The challenger survived a coquina clutch from the champion, then delivered the house call, but Joe kicked out at 2 in a strong near-fall spot. So, Bleacher Report thought Dynasty was had a pretty top tier card for AEW shows and in AEW history. Continuing on here, they said, great from the opening bell of Okada versus Pac through the main event, it featured an array of styles, ensuring no match felt like the next. A superb outing from Danielson and Ospreay, a chaotic ladder match, and the emotion-fueled main event helped it achieve its goal of living up to lofty expectations. Whether AEW can build on the momentum remains to be seen. The company has had many good pay-per-view offerings before, only to fall back into the same booking traps. Grade A or a Orange Cassidy thumbs up. So speaking about the main event, he thought the match was all right. He does not think it delivered continuing the trend of the weak matches that already happened on the show, at least in his opinion. He thought it was a very, very weak main event. The match with Adam Page at Full Gear, he also did not understand what people saw in that match. He thought that match was alright. He actually preferred the main event, which he thinks was MJF defending the AEW World Championship against Jay White. Pretty weak show right here. There was no match of the night on this show, at least in his opinion. And we're gonna look at the grades that were given for the previous two matches, the ladder match and then the main event. And then we're going to give their grade. He's going to give his grade of those two matches and then the show overall. Alright, so the ladder match for the AEW Tag Team Championships, FTR versus the Young Bucks. Bleacher Report gave the match, the grade was an A. He'll give it a C+ for the pile driver from Hardwood to Matthew on the ladder. Or I think that was on the ladder, or just a pile driver from Hardwood to Matthew. The match would get a C+. So moving on to the main event, the AEW World Championship match with Samoa Joe defending the AEW World Championship against Swerve Strickland. Bleacher Report gave the match a B+. He's going to give it a C-. So yeah. Also want to say the audio might sound different because he's in a different place right now, but there may be some issues with audio in the WrestleMania 40 review, so just be prepared for that if anyone decides to watch or listen to that video. So yeah, but the overall number score for AEW Dynasty is a 6.6, and the overall letter grade is a C-. If you like anything like wrestling gaming highlights, like talking about wrestling or reading books, then hit the subscribe button. Also, if you can leave a like on this video, it would be very much appreciated. And if you want to know more about when things are coming out on the channel, you can go to Twitter, where the username is @Batman2063, and on Instagram, where the username is the same as the YouTube channel name. But if you want to follow, you can. If you don't, that's fine too. Bye.